Macabre Coven. We are venomous sin.
And venomous sin declares war on hypocrisy, fake fucks, and the politically correct world that tries to silence you.
We are the band that refuse to kneel.
And stand up for the ones the world tries to silence with fake smiles and so-called status.
You screamed, we hear.
And you are not alone.
I trace the shape of my breath in darkness, and there, in that quiet, I feel desire like a pulse, ancient, rogue, weaving through veins. One part memory, one part myth. Kink isn't just what happens in the flesh. It's geography. It's the hidden topography of our desires, that subterranean network of symbols, textures, rituals. And when you live in the alternative subculture, among those of us who drift beyond the edges of mainstream, fetish becomes language. It becomes covenant. It becomes lore. I've walked into those cloaked rooms, flickering candles, the scent of leather, of candle wax, of latex colliding with skin. I've seen how people don their misfits, how each bootlace, each drop of slime, each rope knot carries a mnemonic weight. It's not just arousal, it's invocation. We practice fetish rites as devotion to the self that remembers before shame, before polish, before erasure. Let me tell you how this began for me. In youth, I found my pleasures in shadows. When rain seeped through window panes and water pooled against my skin, I felt the sublime in wetness, the erotic surge of cool wet against warm flesh. That moment, fluid, messy, became a chord in me. Later, I discovered WAM, wet and messy fetishism, and it felt like retrieval, like speaking a lost dialect of desire. Cake, mud, slime. Those textures invited me into something vast and disorderly, but chosen. Not chaotic, exactly, but anarchic in its reverence. It whispered, "It's okay. Worship me. Worship yourself. This is not pathology. This is declaration." And then there are boots. Glossy, heeled, rugged. Boot fetishism is the language of power and trembling at once. They clasp ankles, they press on arches, they whisper of control, of submission, of longing. Their shape artful, their material heavy with symbolism. In alt scenes, people don latex, leather, boots as armor, as prayer beads, as runes. A boot becomes a totem and the wearer a vessel for electric exchange. One person glimpsing power, another experiencing reverence. We don't just see boots, we feel myth in their ridges. But let's breathe again, feel the cavern of ritual rope. Shibari. This Japanese art unwinds in slow insistence, ribbons forming sanctuaries around the spine, arms, limbs. Every twist, every pull is a sentence in an otherwise unspeakable poem. Flesh framed by rope isn't bondage, it's revelation. Release through containment, release through structure. Tension balanced against surrender, breath caught between knots. When I talk about shibari, I taste the texture of rope, hear the soft scrape on my skin, feel my pulse echo in spaces I thought were lost. Alternative subculture fetish is not monolith, it's kaleidoscopic. We trace erotic lines from electronic pulses in pain play to rubber-hugging skin in a cold flat, to food play that's sticky, sensory, intimate. Hindrance turned invitation. Sometimes desires stem from imprint, early touches, smells, textures. But in alt scenes, we do not pathologize. We hallow. We say to our kink, "Thank you. Thank you for keeping me alive when no one else could locate my heartbeat." We're also scholars of risk, RACK, risk-aware, consensual kink. We know many of our rituals are edgy, challenge boundaries, stretch safety lines. Yet every breath, every pulse is tempered by communication, by negotiation. We don't treat consent like an afterthought. It's our compass. Whether wearing boots that tighten, or latex that traps, or rope that binds breath and soul, we negotiate. Safe words, signals, protocols. Anyone hurting can call pause. aftercare, soft towels, water, whispered voices, existential tethering, because even in darkness, care must be present. I recall one ritual, candle wax gliding over latex-covered skin, heat, then cold, then heat again, a duet of sensation, hot wax, smooth and curdling, sizzles, then sets. The latex keeps you safe but raw. It's a ritual of exposure dressed in armor, not humiliation, but exaltation in the vulnerability, a paradox turned devotional, and it stays with you, burning, soft, protected. In alt communities, fetish becomes identity architecture. In queer enclaves, in alt art scenes, in underground clubs, I've seen people adorn their bodies in piercings, rope, blood, if that's part of their path, mud, boots, latex, and define themselves through texture. When we speak of kink, we speak of queerness as an echo. We speak of defiance. We speak of becoming. Our kinks are lodestones to our identity. We don't dissociate. We engage. We come alive in the friction, in the transgression, in the reverberation. We're not secretive. We're revolutionary. Kink within alt subculture is rejection of shame. We're claiming erotic sovereignty. We honor kink in poetry. We write manifestos with our bodies. We craft art when rope shades around limbs. We baptize our desire in wetness. We prostrate before latex, before leather, before slime. Let's talk about acceptance. Mainstream fetish discourse tries to sanitize. It wants labels, vanilla versus kink. It wants hierarchy, who's normal, who's not. But in alt culture, we dismantle that. We say every sensory tug, every rogue longing is valid. Nothing is too messy, too broken, too taboo. And we practice radical empathy. When one of us confesses a weight play fetish, heavy bodies pressed against light, there is no pity. There is awe. When another reveals electrostimulation, we ask, how does electricity kiss your nerve? Or you, who gear switch between masochism and domination, how does that shift feel in your cell memory? And we listen, we share, we weave community, we speak, and we are heard. On some nights I walk home, soles wet from rain, and I touch my ankle where a boot once bit tight, and I feel hum in the memory. My fetish is my poem. It is my prayer. It is my covenant with the unseen, the under-oxygenated desires that have always been whispering in me and finally can speak. So if you're listening, know this, you're not alone. No matter how twisted you feel, no matter how specific your ache, your fetish is real. Your body is your scripture. In the alternative subculture, we don't just survive, we consecrate. We bless our kinks with language, with consent, with ritual, with care. This is my confession, my anthem, my ritual, my love letter to kink, to alt culture, to every trembling heart that craves more than forgetting. We are the hidden flame, and in our darkness we burn incandescent.
If you like the show, hit subscribe, share it to anyone you think should hear it.
If you ever been silenced, manipulated, excluded, we are here for you. We are Venomous Sin.
And Venomous Sin declares war!
You are not alone.